What are 3 things you're doing right now to help keep good client relations?
Over-deliver, not too much. Learn about your clients so you can always upsell and do other projects. And I would say, if there's ever a problem, come up with a solution. Don't come up with another problem.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just going to be an annoying person if you're just like, problem, problem, problem. Yeah, nice, good work.
Right.
Yeah, you still got a job, good job. What 3 things are you doing right now to help keep our good client relationships in our business?
Always managing their expectations, keeping them in the loop, updating them if things have changed, and I don't know, always catching up with them after a shoot just to kind of say thank you, and I look forward to working on the project.
Yeah, nice. Sounds good to me. I literally got to catch my breath now. Oh, yeah. Jeez, man. What do your clients actually think about you? And more importantly, how do you actually know that? Is that through things that they've said? Do you actually ask them these questions? Or is it just a feeling that you get inside that tells you that they're happy with your work? Now, I want you to picture this. Picture yourself doing some work for a client, doing the edit, making some amendments, and handing that project back over to the client. You get paid and everyone's happy. But all of a sudden, you don't hear anything back from that client. You follow up about some projects that are coming up in the future and you just don't receive anything. The deeper you dive, you go into their social media pages and their website and can see that they're having videos and content created by someone else. Now that's something that's happened to me and so many other filmmakers like you, just because they haven't managed the client relationship as well as they can do. We've recently implemented an NPS, which I'll go into more detail about, as well as providing loads of other value, because this has a huge impact on your revenue at the end of the year. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you an opportunity to download our NPS, and so you can use that form with your clients. But one of the most important factors that filmmakers like you forget is clear communication and expectation managing is absolute key to success of the project. Even if you understand the importance of that, a lot of people just don't do it as well as they can be. And again, that has a huge impact on that repeat business. And we've had many examples where clients have unfortunately said that they're really, really happy, and actually what they're saying versus what they're actually thinking deep down are 2 completely separate things. So we've worked hard on this over the years in our production company to make sure that every one of our team members adheres to this structure and make sure they're really happy with the service that we're providing. So starting with clear expectations at the very start, this all comes down to your pre-production. I've done some videos on this on the channel beforehand where I dive into detail, but this is your opportunity to find out everything that the client wants. And what creators can often be guilty of is going with all of their ideas and not actually listening to what the client wants. You should be asking them as many questions as possible. Now, I remember when I started out, I was actually so scared to ask questions because I felt that by asking questions to the client, it made it seem like I didn't know what I was doing. Maybe that's just not me. If you feel like that, then let me know below. But I feel like that just happens to everyone because you want to be like, I'm the professional, I know what I'm doing, and you want to guide them. But actually, that leads you down a very bad place. You should listen to them. What are their expectations? What do they want to get out of this? And we ask this just simply by asking 3 main questions. One is, what is the goal for this project? What do you want it to achieve? Number 2 is, do you have any inspiration? Have you seen anything that your competitors are doing that you like the look of, or any other industries that we can kind of get some inspiration from? That really helps you guide their budgets later on down the line as well. And then finally, do you have a budget in mind for this project? Now, depending on their inspiration, you'll then be able to have a much easier conversation when it comes to talking about price and budget, and at least just getting some kind of a ballpark. Say to them, look, I can do a video for $100, I can do a video for $100,000. They're very, very different. So what kind of money are we looking at so that we can make sure we come up with the best ideas for you? This is the main objection hand, and this is the main thing about expectations and that client relationship. How you set out in those initial meetings with your client is going to really depend on how the rest of the project is going to go. If your prices are changing, if you overlook factors that simply weren't mentioned initially, then it's going to leave you in a really problematic or a confrontational situation. You want it to be a smooth process. You don't want to create friction. So do that by asking these questions and diving a bit deeper into what the client's actually looking for. Not to mention, it actually gives you a really good opportunity to go back if they change their mind and say, hey, we didn't discuss that. In our meeting plans, we came up with this. We can do what you're now asking, but it's going to come at an additional cost because now you want animation, now you want X, Y, Z. And it just creates a great platform for you to be able to charge accordingly and not always feel like, oh, I've got to say yes because I don't want to annoy them. I want them to keep coming back to me. That's a lose-lose because then they might go elsewhere and you've done it cheap. So laying that out, managing expectations, ask questions, biggest bit of advice I can probably give you. Going from this straight to the next part is clear communication. Picture this, you are dropping your car off at the mechanic's garage. You're not just going to leave it there and walk away, are you? You're going to have loads of questions. So every time you go to use a service-based business, think about what questions do you typically have and meet these questions for your client before they even come up with it, because then it's going to show that you really care about them. A key factor to this is just giving them regular updates or regular touch points. So before the shoot happens, message them, a couple of days beforehand just to say, hey, are we all looking good for Friday? Because otherwise they'll be thinking, oh, are these guys going to turn up on Friday? Of course you're going to turn up on Friday, but they might be concerned because they haven't heard anything. After the shoot, hey, we're going to jump on the edit, should be done by this point. Expectation managing the whole time. They know to basically not contact you before that date. If that date's going to get moved on or something happens with the edit, just again, message them, let them know, keep them updated, even if as far as you're concerned, nothing is happening. Hey, just to let you know, we're still working on the edit on this at the moment, should have an update for you next week. Just let them know because they're going to be sitting there thinking, we haven't heard anything. And they'll be having chats with their friends and their business friends and, personal friends. And they'll be talking about, oh, you had this video done, but yeah, we've got no idea when it's coming or what it looks like or anything like that. So send them little snapshots and updates. That's something for us that's massively changed our business and has brought up that overall impact that we've had with the client relation. Look, guys, I can't stress this enough. This is like the most important part of your business. And it's so simple that people literally just look straight over it. Just sending some emails is simple and asking a few questions, but people forget about it. And if you don't do this, you can forget about that repeat business and that recurring revenue. The only sure way to grow your business forward is by having clients come back to you. It's not feasible to make a sale, do the work, and then have to make a new sale every single time. You need those people coming back to you, and you're only going to be certified to do that if you follow this process. So I really can't stress this importance enough. So moving on to our NPS system and what this is. Now, everything I talk about here, I'm going to link this below. It's going to be in our free training event. So if you register for our free training event, we're actually going to send you an email that includes some free resources. That includes our sales scripts and templates for how to actually go and get clients so you can use them yourselves and just copy them, as well as this NPS form. I'll link that in there as well. So anyone who signs up for our free training event, you'll automatically get that email over to you as well. Now, NPS stands for Net Promoter Score. And what that is a gauge of how your clients actually rate you. Now, what was surprising to us is it works on a scale of 1 to 10. What's the minimum number the client would have to score you for you to say that they were, happy with your business and that they weren't thinking about going elsewhere? What's that number? For me, I was thinking if anyone gave us a 7 or higher, then that means that they're engaged with our business. They're probably not going to go elsewhere. Wrong. If anyone scores you from a 0 to a 6, they are detractors. They are people who aren't actually that happy with your service. They would leave if something else came along pretty quickly. They would even go as far to say that those people would actually be actively looking for someone else next time they have a video project. That's quite high. Now it gets worse. 7 and 8 are passive people. They're passive people who are like, yeah, they're happy, but if someone offered them a deal tomorrow, they'd probably give that a try as well. They're not really that connected to you, but they're like semi-happy. They're just passive with what's going on. It's only people that score you a 9 or a 10 in that whole spectrum that are actually promoters of your business and actively go out there and say, these guys are great. How many of your clients right now do you think would score you a 9 or a 10? Honestly, for us, I don't think it was that high. which is why we had to implement loads of the other things, the things the guys were saying earlier on today, as well as the strategies that I've shown you here to really help build that up. So how can you find this stuff out for yourself? Well, with the Net Promoter Score, it's a very simple questionnaire. You can do this on Google Forms, and you just want to ask a couple of questions. The first question is, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely is it that you would recommend our business? You send that out to every new client after their first project, and that gives you a really good understanding of what your impressions were like. You can always do this as follow-ups later on. You don't need to do this after every single client project if you've worked with them for a long time. We then follow up with another question, which is, if you are happy to recommend us to a friend, is that something you would be willing to do? Because some people actually say, yes, I would be happy to refer you to another business or something like that, but actually don't ever go ahead and do it. So referrals are going to be so key to growing your business and growing the success of your business. And you can start to see now why these relationships, these client relations are so important. Because it's not just about your relationship with that client and them coming back to you time and time again. It's about who do they know? Who can they bring into your business to help you grow as well? And then the last question we ask them is, would you be able to leave us a short testimonial below? Just simple text they can fill out how they found the experience working with you. You can then use that on your website if you wish, or in your downloads if you're doing pitch decks or PDFs, or just using it for your general marketing. It's a really, really good tool to have. So all of you can go out there and just create 3 questions, right, that you send to every client. It's easy enough, but not enough of you are doing it, and it has a huge impact on your overall revenue at the end of the year. Like I said, if you go in and actually click the link in the description below to our free training event, you can download not only this, but our sales scripts and templates as well. Plus the event will actually teach you about recurring revenue, as well as some of our outreach strategies. So how do we find our clients? What tools do we actually use online to get their data? How do we approach them? What kind of things do we say? And then once we've got them, how do we keep them coming back on a contracted fixed term retainer? Definitely take a look at that if you're interested in growing your business this year. I'm going to talk to you about our TLC method and exactly what I would do differently if I had to start this all again tomorrow. If I lost my production company and had to start things again right now, this video includes everything that I would do. Make sure you go and take a look at that. I look forward to seeing you guys next time.